Hello and welcome to another interesting edition of our program Issues of the Moment. And our talking point on today's edition of the program is the unofficial hike and the pump price of premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol. About 1 week ago, there was an increase in the price of petrol. The increment came as a surprise to motorists and other users of the product because there was no such announcement by the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency, a body saddled with the task of fixing the price of petroleum products in the country. As we speak, the price of the commodity is hovering between 250 naira and 300 naira per liter in filling stations within the southeast zone of Nigeria. The current hike, which is only experienced in the southeast region, has been traced to a lingering crisis between oil dealers and the Imo State government. It was because of the demolition of a key facility belonging to an oil dealer by the previous administration in Imo State. That's the background information concerning the subject we are going to discuss today. And I have with me in the studio two gentlemen who are going to do justice to this very topic. Sitting on my extreme left is Mr. Victor Mugo. Mr. Mugo is a legal practitioner. Mr. Mugo, welcome to the program.
Thank you, James. Thank you, viewers.
I also have in the studio Mr. Augustine Nnabugo. He is a retired civil servant. Mr. Nnabugo, welcome to Issues of the Moment.
Thank you, sir. Listeners, please.
Mr. Mugo, let me start with you. You are from Imo State, and the hike and the scarcity started from there. Can it be said the administration in Imo State handled that matter very poorly?
Well, I won't say so because there is no official statement on the issue of increasing fuel. The crisis, from what we have had, arose from outcome of the litigation between a private oil dealer and the government of Imo State, where facilities of a certain oil dealer was covered by Imo State government. The man is put an action in court, and from what he had, got judgment in his favor. You see, in Nigeria, judgment does not end, or case does not end with the court of first instance. If you go to court, either you succeed or you lose. But bear in mind that law does not close against court process. We have had years, you get government judgment against government authorities. Enforcement becomes an issue. Because there are several ways of enforcing judgment of the court. So we do not subscribe to the system where people, this system is called self-help, where you want to twist the system to pretend that you are enforcing the judgment of the court.
Is it on the part of the government or the oil dealer?
What is not the oil dealer as a person, rather his association who are in sympathy with him. And for me, I see this as a gang up against the society. Because an individual has gone to court, he feels he got judgment, he feels that the government has not allowed him to enforce that judgment. When the government also has the right to appeal, even when judgment is given by the state, that's the procedure to legal means to enforce that judgment. So this system is what I call, you see, we have gotten to a situation where people will need to resort to all manner of things. I will not completely blame the judgment creditor because the judgment creditor may be saying today, yes, I elected from Juson. Juson got judgment against the state government on issue of judicial authority. Rather than following judicial process to enforce it, the churches, they didn't say anything, supported that Juson's claim for months. So when you try to twist the legal process by use of force, because I see that use of force, That is against also rule of law.
Okay.
So, even though yes, I know that the present Muslim government has employed quite a friendly system, not implemented system in going about the government. But this time around, I think the man is standing up to counter as a man.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Mr. Naboko, as a retired civil servant, you know the importance of petrol in Nigeria's economy. In fact, it is the oil of the nation. Do you think that independent marketers of petroleum products should engage in such act, knowing fully well the importance of petrol?
Yeah, it is very much unfortunate that, let's say, the common man or the person in the street is getting a blow for what he never bargained for. What I'm actually saying is that it is very, very advanced, very unfortunate. I will even call it a sort of transferred aggression, because one, I feel that the common man does not know what is going on. But at the end of this one is the person that is bearing the brunt. So I want to say that the action these people took is very wrong. To have maybe close up
Their stations?
Their stations. Locked up without even minding the effects. Very serious on the part. Pedro, by the time you go there, it's closed. His business is closed. And you know what it means that actually the children, the dependent relations are looking upon him for the daily bread.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nabu. Now, Victor, as we speak, a liter of petrol is being sold above 350 naira. In some filling stations, in fact, they are ordering the product. They mainly sell in the night so that they can sell at any rate they consider necessary. Should that be the case? Don't we have a government?
Well, I bought a 300 this morning in my community office in one dingy filling station. I very much thought that they are the correct ones. I'm not sure. You see, the most painful aspect of this is that we are in Nigeria. The judgment said to be being disobeyed, the judgment of a court in the state.
And not Abia.
The government that is said to have not obeyed the judgment is government of Imo State. I say this, I don't know why and money. It's sad. Yes, when we talk about not perhaps you can say majority of Southerners are Muslims, but they follow what the Quran says. If you go to other places, you have Christians. But I say Igbo man is in worship of money. When I say that, people want to condemn me. So this filling station, they have seen that for some time. There have been steady supply of food. They are not happy about that. They want to do one thing or the other so that they can make backyard money. Nothing else. You can't justify a situation where something happened in the Muslim far away from here. we can't blame Abia State government on this judgment. Are they saying that Abia State government should use their money to go and pay the judgment? So that is what I can't understand. So for me, it's unjustifiable. However, where the Abia State government has failed is constant information, appealing, and if possible, using muscle. You see, you can't just sit back, keep quiet. People are suffering, going through hell. You see, that is where one day people rise against God. That is where it starts. If you take a journey, let me tell you, if you want to see the level of suffering in this time, I plead with you, take a journey from Aba to Port Harcourt and come back the next day. That is when you feel the full impact of this fuel scarcity, what people are suffering on the road, and the full impact of suffering in the state. So you see, you may be suffering, and then with nice pampering, government will continue to tell you, you see, I'm not happy about this. Continue to pamper the people. Why they say, but when you keep quiet about suffering, they will simply feel you are part of it. So I feel that is one way where I feel that Abia State government has not done their own part. Because even if it is 1,000 naira, they can afford it. Of course, there is fuel dump for certain government officials. So it is the common man. Common man does not even mean the big man. At this point, I'm falling to the kind of the common man. Because when I go to my house, I do not have even 5 liters to on my generator. Of course, NEPA can manage it. So we are all falling victims to this.
Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Nabuku, I watched Hope Uzodinma on TV. That was 2 days ago, where they appealed to oil marketers in Imo State to do the right thing. And he said that if they cannot sell, if they feel that they don't have the product, they should close down instead of opening in the evening. On the part of Abia State government, are you not worried that the government has not said anything pertaining to the issue we are discussing today?
We are very much surprised that up to now, government has not made any utterance. And the citizens mean the people that are ruling, the people that brought them to government, whom they're supposed to take care of, they have left them without a word. There should be a word to encourage us, for we to know what is actually happening. I am very surprised. You see, in times like this, when the citizen or when the people they are taken care of enters into problem, that is the time you will know who is in charge, that you are your own. So what I'm actually saying is that the Abia government has not said anything. And this is something that happened in another state, which was brought to them, and the Abians are suffering. They have not said anything. Nobody will feel happy about it. That means that we are left to suffer like that. I mean, there is no man, there is nobody that will not, that will be happy about it. I don't think that Abians are happy about it, because the issue of fuel runs across every bit of thing. Can you even talk about the one who is a designer, maybe fashion and design? All the gen set in order to show what he's doing. And just call it anything. So what I'm trying to say is that it looks as that the livelihood of an Abian just has to drain off like that, without anybody trying to console or trying to say, please wait a little, we are coming up with this and that. And I think such a thing should be addressed.
Okay, now, Mr. Victor, as a lawyer, you know that the economy of the Southeast region has been suffering as a result of a sit-at-home order by IPOB, and now we are experiencing an increase in the price of petrol. Don't you think that is worsening an already bad situation?
My brother, this is what is called self-infliction. When you inflict injury on yourself, you don't blame anybody. Who is the petroleum dealer that got the judgment? Is an Igbo man. Who are the people who are suffering the injury? Women. The government that is adamant to listen to the judgment creditor, even to meet him midway. Government run by an Igbo man. The government has kept silence over the sufferings of the other people. Government. And people are telling us that when we get Igbo country, that God will come from heaven and make this place a better. Wow. My brother, Igbo man is a special creature. He is a creature that worships money. And when you have a creature that worships money, you know what will happen in such a site. For me, it's a terrible situation. And we are all paying for it because it may not be because the present man who is the governor is that person. If there to be another Igbo man, it's something may happen. So the question is there is something so deep in Igbo man that he behaves the way he behaves. Why he is propelled by want to acquire, build house in Lagos, build one in Abuja, build one in every capital, build one at home. He wants to get everything on earth. Kingdom cannot be here. Whatever you get, highest the impact you make on people. Today we remember Gojek. I can't see any building beautiful Gojek. Remember Gojek, we remember Mako. You can't, there's no more Mako building this time. You remember for what they have done. But our people want to get every money on earth. I sympathize with them. That's my conclusion.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we are going to take a break. And when we come back, issues of the moment will continue. Stay tuned.
The Living Television Film Academy ABA wishes to inform all the candidates who applied for the Skill Acquisition Scholarship Program sponsored by His Excellency Okezie Victor Ibazu PhD for a 1-year certificate training in film and mass communication that registration will commence on Monday 9th and end Friday 20th August 2021 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily at the Academy's main campus, number 1 Judges Road, opposite Esiama Police Station, Opobo Road, ABA. Registration of intending trainees will be on first-come, first-served basis. Meanwhile, the auditioning of actors cum actresses for our epic film Ijani will commence on 21st August 2021. Interested actors cum actresses are invited to join as students and trainees in the film production. Enquiries 0816 641 1400. Management announcer.
Give us but it's not that you are bribing an officer like me.
No.
Not tomorrow night you go tell them say you don't bribe officer like me.
No, we are just settling it.
Thanks for staying with us. This is still issues of the moment, and on today's edition of the program, we are taking a look at the unofficial hike in the pump price of premium metal spirit, otherwise known as petrol, and it is only been experienced in the southeast geopolitical zone of Nigeria. Now, Mr. Mugo, I know that when we are facing such a situation, the government will set up a task force to monitor the activities of filling stations and call them to order. Why is it that our government is unwilling to do that now?
Well, I cannot answer for government. Rather than talk about task force, has government gone into negotiation with the petroleum marketers in Abia State, for instance? Has the governor of Abia State intervened in that area? And then, if they fail, you can now talk about task force to enforce. So when you live as if what happened to the society is not your major business, when that is actually what should be your major business, that should be why you are even number one citizen. It baffles some of us. So first and foremost, if he has done that, we don't know, because I believe that if he has gone into negotiation with them, gentlemen, we are not in breach of any agreement with you. We didn't fail any of to midway or complete any judgment against the person company. Why are you inflicting this hardship on others?
Yes, on the people.
I believe at that point, the government also would have been letting the people know that we are taking this step. When they continue to insist, then the government comes to task force and run with the hammer. But you see, this government, that is my, I don't know why they continue. This government sits back. They continue to sit back and things will continue to spoil and will continue to suffer and suffer and suffer. And then they feel that we can't get to the point of that we can no longer say no to this. So I don't know why they are behaving that way, unfortunately, because issue of task force should be the last. There should be alternative dispute resolution. When you take that one out and it fails, then you take the next step. So it is for government to answer why they have failed to negotiate with the petroleum dealers concerned, and then followed up by setting up a task force to ensure that people are not allowed to continue to suffer. So I wish a government official had been part of this program for him to answer to such questions.
Okay, thank you. Now, Aba is a commercial city, and we know what happens in Aba. The economy is not thriving, it's not as before. What do you think will be the impact of the scarcity?
Already, when there is a little loophole concerning the issue of fuel hike, it is now the certificate for whatever the people are selling will get up, will rise. So what I know is that for whatever people are saying now that are commodities, you don't buy them at that very price, you know. They will all go high. Just like the keke man, the Okada man, or what the transporters have already hiked their distance, even labor. The labor you got last week will never take what he had last week. He's going to hike it in order to meet up. So what I'm trying to say is that everything that concerns commodity, consumables, or services have risen abysmally, very high. So, and you will look inwards. What are our income? Has the income increased? Is there any miracle that happened that people are getting this? No, it's still stagnant. So, and because of that, it's almost trying to kill a fly with a sledgehammer. Killing a fly instead of broom. So the situation in which we are being handled now is so pathetic. We are only in God's hands. We are only in God's hands because it looks as if we have no person, we have nobody to say at least to calm us down. That is why you see most people, if you don't put on if you don't hold seriously, some people are absent-minded who are walking on the street. They are absent-minded. So some of them will even wish they die. Because it's just like the time of the Egyptians, they were giving big load to Israelites. And it's only God's intervention that brought them. God had their cry. Say, these people must come out from bondage. This is another bondage in disguise.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nabukwa. It is a fact that oil marketers in Nigeria, particularly in the southeast region, take advantage of every situation to increase their price. But these same marketers are also unwilling. They hesitate to adjust their meters when there is a downward review of price by the federal government. Mr. Mugo, what do you have to say about it?
Like I said, it's like they say that the man has taken his chicken to the market will continue to display in such a way that you think that is a very gigantic live chicken. You see, this knack to exploit the people is worrisome. I wish there should be a reorientation of the consciousness of an Igbo man. I don't know what the pastors, our preachers are doing. I don't know what our elders are doing. You see, this desire, we have gotten to a point where it's either you have money or you should go and die.
Or you perish.
Yeah, so everybody who has the opportunity, they want to utilize that opportunity to the fullest. They want to escape poverty, they want to escape so that at all point, whatever they want, they will get it. But we should be aware that it is the quality of life, the way you have impacted on the people, that will be the legacy you leave. That will be what you will remember for. Not whether you had your life, you had 10 aircraft or 20 aircraft. So I wish our people realize this. See, these petroleum marketers, my brother, it is, I remember right from the passengers, the slightest thing that happened in society, they will quickly go and adjust their pump price. And the least affected, I will tell you the effect. It is difficult now. It is very, very difficult now because the least people, because I'm a lawyer, well, you can say I came back from court.
Yes.
I quickly won my client. Don't ever think that the same transport money you provided, I will not accept it. You see, the man that cannot adjust his own now is a civil servant. How will he then adjust? He simply adjust by taking bribe. That is the implications of what is happening. You don't know what is happening. You tell me, so if you don't give him bribe, of course he will not do what you ought to do. So it is setting back. But the question is that how much will you on your own if I were adjusted to transport? To how much? Compared to what you are going to face with several increases in what you are going to buy. So at the end of the day, I think government at this point, because there is a weak government, both at the center and at the state. We are facing very weak today in Southeast. We are in the government of non-actors. Nobody should pretend. It is these non-actors who decide whether there will be election next time. Whether we see a talk on Monday, if somebody wakes up and feels that it is no longer Monday, it is on Thursday, we start. No. So this is the period of non-state actors. And when we are being governed by non-state actors, it is every man to himself, God for us all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amoku. Now, Mr. Nabuko, we know that the primary role of government is to ensure the welfare of the people. But what is happening, don't you think that it has exposed the huge disconnect between the government and the governed?
That is why you see people, the youth resting days, people responding with violence here and there. That is why you don't need to We don't need to invite a prophet to know that these youths are reacting towards what they are passing through. Forget about the elderly ones. The elderly ones can convert lack of food into fasting for a long time. For the youth, they will react because hunger is beating on them. So what I'm trying to say is that he is quite open. He is not covered. There are reaction of people that they are really suffering, and they are showing it by their faces. Very little thing you see them trigger. They get angry. It's just because you have been overbeating them. They don't have what it takes to live. People are living below what is required for a living. Yes, for some of us who are very close to the village, there are people that they just want, a small loaf of bread and water, but they don't get it. But things are getting so hard on them, even before the fuel hike. And now that the fuel has been hiked, it is times 10 of the suffering. So, and nobody wants to give a support. The government is not speaking. The church, even the people you call the independent marketers, will even come to praise God or even come to give thanks for the booty and this thing they have collected within the period they have shortchanged their brothers. They are going to give praises in the churches, of which even the clergy will be even be happy. So what we are trying to say is that we are on our own. Just like an orphan who has nobody to look at, continue to cry. It's only God that will hear and say, please, my children, let me comfort you. So it is very serious.
Okay, thank you. Now, is there any role the church can play in what is happening, Mr. Victor? Because I know that these oil marketers, they belong to one church or another.
See, before you ask whether the church can play, first is that who do the people listen to now? You see, what is happening in the churches? Now we are lost hope in the church. That's the truth. So the first is that if you can get the center that people can listen to, and then we appeal to those people, you can appeal to the people. Yes. Before it used to be the churches, but the way the pastors are living their life, the stories we hear about the life of pastors have made people. Is it not? Some people say it's common that the pastor is starting, this one is starting. So do they really command that respect of the people? I can even say it now. If you know some people would want to even those are people. Some people, many people will listen to even this band organization. Once they say it, see many people listening to them. So it's a question of who do we listen to? People have lost faith in the government. A classmate of mine in Australia said, why should you demand patriotism from our village Nigeria? From when you wake up in the morning to when you go back to bed, what impact will the government, if you're sick, you're on your own. If you're hungry, you're on your own. If you're going to train your children to school, you're on your own. So how does government come into your life to attract patriotism? No. If government cannot make an impact in my life, how then do you expect me to be patriotic? So it's a question of where do we run to? I think the best thing is for us, all of us in here, to begin to appeal to God. It's not the issue of going to church to do that. Let us kneel down in prayers, whatever we are doing now, and continue to cry out to God. Yeah, so that, like my Minister Government said, yes, these people will take money to the church. They will clap for them. They will give you some of money. So is it the same institution that will benefit from what I call the youth now? That we are on our own. So it's for us to do that. I know that there is no problem. God, the Almighty, will not solve. And in this case, the Almighty will solve it.
Yes, and before we draw the curtain on today's edition of our program, Mr. Nabubu, let me ask you this question, and I want to appeal to you to be brief, to be brief as possible. Now, how do you think that we can restore the confidence of the people and the government to intervene in matters like this?
Well, what we are expecting is not too much. The common man doesn't expect too much. If you give him food, give him water, and all things that make life worthy of living, the average man will be happy. Like what they are talking about, the fuel issue now, it's not a big story. It's something they can do. It's a question of them themselves uniting with the body that have strike and say, please tool off your distance, begin again, and they will oblige. Immediately they see the government sees it becomes happy. The same thing with you go to the market and you buy something commensurate with the money you have. So what I want to say, and the security, you are secure. People and whatever. So what I'm trying to say is that if government can do their bit, God, these things are within their reach. It's not a big deal. They can do their bit. The common man will feel happy. And anytime you call them for voting or whatever, they will respond. But where these things are not coming, there will be more apathy in voting if they continue like that.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we have come to the end of today's edition of our program, Issues of the Moment. And we have been discussing the unofficial hike and the pump price of petrol, which is experienced only in the southeast geopolitical zone of the country. I want to thank Mr. Victor Nwoko for coming to the studios of Living TV Film Academy to speak on this very issue. Mr. Victor, it's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank my people.
And also, Mr. Nabubu, I want to thank you for being part of today's edition of our program. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, great presence. Thank you, listeners.
Thank you so much, and my name is Chimezie Ozems. Join us next week when we come your way with another interesting topic.